Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith with your afternoon video forecast discussion for this second day of June 2020. And we're just about 2 weeks away now from the official start of the summer. And, well, I've been out of work. When I count the time that I'm going back to work versus the time I was unemployed, I would have been the entire spring season, literally, that I've been out. Not that that makes any of us feel any better about the situation out there. We're just going to focus on the weather for today, and we've got a lot of stuff coming tomorrow. And the fact that summer is just about 2 weeks away, we're going to run into some hot weather and some steamy conditions ahead of a cold front tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening with some very strong, intense thunderstorms. We're going to talk about all of that right now. And we'll begin today with the national view of the water vapor channel here. We had, now this has become Cristobal, which is our third name tropical storm system of the season already, and we're just into it now. It started about yesterday. Actually started a little bit before that, but I can tell you that it's going to be problematic. A lot of areas here in the southeastern United States going to receive quite a bit of rainfall, as has happened over the Yucatan Peninsula. That frame was just refreshing itself. Meanwhile, we've got a lot of things going on. We have southwest flow around high pressure off the mid-Atlantic coast now, and a warm front which is developing in the upper levels of the atmosphere and in the mid-levels too. Clouds and some showers here spilling out over the Cape and out into southeastern Long Island's waters here. And then we have people working on the roof, taking leaves off while I'm broadcasting this, so it's going to get a little noisy or disruptive here. I'm going to lose my train of thought. We have enhanced risk for thunderstorms today over the northern plains, extending into portions of the Great Lakes here eventually as we move forward here in time. I'll stop this frame at the end here so that I can concentrate on what I'm talking about. We have a weak trough line access here. Clouds and some showers spilling over the top and through southern New England and over the ridge here, and we have Cristobal here. And this looks interesting because we'll get into this in a minute. And we've got a lot of things going on here. We've got areas of low pressure, well, what it looks like to me is just a streaming of moisture from a cutoff low, probably well off the California coast here. Just a lot of upper lifting here in the atmosphere, a lot of water vapor channel energy coming into the Colorado Rockies and the upper Midwest, into the upper high plains as well, and another storm system coming through the polar branch here into Washington and Oregon, increasing the water vapor. If we looked at the visible this afternoon, and we'll probably freeze this if we can get it. Sometimes when you are forecasting with an overlay, it doesn't work. Okay, here's a lot of clouds spilling over the top of the ridge with a developing warm front here in this area here. So we have some breaks in the clouds, maybe a few spots of getting some intervals of sunshine, but for the most part, mostly cloudy for most of the day. Right now, we're in an area where there is some breaks in the clouds over northern New Jersey, but that's already going to start filling in with the cloud deck just to the north and to the west. Here we have lots of moisture increasing with Cristobal out here over the north of the Yucatan Peninsula. Lots of moisture feeding northward now into Southern California. And it's, again, if we looked at the lower level water vapor, lower level, come on. All right, let's stop it here. Lots of moisture coming in now from Cristobal, and that's feeding into portions of Florida where it's still very hot. And of course, in the Mexico here, it's still very, very hot, as well as Texas. And it's cooling down now with this cloud flow deck coming in into California as well. We can see this nicely here on the visible satellite imagery early this afternoon. Third named storm of the season, Cristobal, at 11:15 this morning, Central Daylight Time. Maximum sustained winds about 35 knots, minimum central pressure 1,004 millibars, and it's about 19.3 north, 92.7 west. The movement to the southwest at about 3 miles per hour, so it's going very, very slow, would be expected. It was a tropical depression, strengthens to a tropical storm now. And if we click on this, with these overlays, here's what we have to deal with. Deadly flooding has already occurred in portions of Guatemala and El Salvador, and the depression is expected to bring additional heavy rainfall to portions of southern Mexico and Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, which could cause life-threatening flash flooding in those areas, the mountainous terrains, and mudslides. Tropical storm conditions expected along the coast of Mexico, where a tropical storm warning is now in effect. We'll pull up those in just a minute. System forecasted to begin moving northward across the Gulf of Mexico by this weekend. It's too soon to specify the location and timing of any potential impacts along the U.S. Gulf Coast, but interest in these areas should monitor the progress of the storm through the week and ensure that they have their hurricane plan in place as we begin the season. And right on time, we are beginning the season. Let's take a look at the tropical storm wind speed probabilities, and this will be through Sunday, June 7th. Again, it's going to be moving very slowly north of the Yucatan Peninsula here and portions of northern southeastern Mexico's coastline here. And that's where we're going to find the greatest threat for the highest winds. Now, the arrival time of winds... Why is everything not working today? Okay, well, the highest wind gust now getting into Saturday. We're expecting a tropical storm force winds out here into the Gulf, just south of Louisiana, by Saturday morning. So, we're in, it's going to make slow progress. The wind history, I don't know if that's showing up right now. We have no wind history right now. Let's take a look at the warnings and surface winds. We don't have that. Warning cone, static images. Yeah, let's take a look at the static images. It's going to be it's a storm now, and it's going to continue to be the storm as it gets close to the Gulfport areas of Louisiana here by Sunday morning. Still going to be out in the Gulf, but it could be far-reaching with some of the precipitation. And let's see what else we can show you here. Well, Air Force Mission Number 1, AF-303, just got into the low-level reconnaissance here into the cyclone. It just finished up just a few minutes ago, so it's showing pressures are falling, and the storm, Cristobal, is beginning to strengthen, and we'll be following this with the flight level winds and everything else coming up during the day. And this is the mesoscale long wave IR imagery of Cristobal this afternoon. Coming in from this morning into this afternoon, we're finding clusters of lifting and thunderstorms here north of the center and on the west side of the center, and a lot of good outflow going on here toward the north and northeast of the center. So this thing is expected to continue to strengthen over very, very warm waters here just north of the Mexican coastline here, which is right here. Looking at the sea surface temperatures here along the Gulf Coast here, they're definitely near or approaching 80 degrees, which is very favorable for tropical storms, even at this early stage in the game. Very difficult for me to concentrate this afternoon with men pounding on the roof, cleaning gutters, but I'll do the very best I can to concentrate. These are our national warnings for this afternoon across the southwest, across Arizona, ports of Nevada here, and well, you get the picture, excessive heat warnings. And of course, we have our heat advisories here across the San Joaquin Valley and the coastal central areas of California. Pretty hot across the country early this afternoon, late morning here if you're in the plains, and of course the southwest where temperatures are already in the 80s and 90s, and it's about 9 o'clock in the morning there. Temperatures a little cooler here in southeastern Canada, but everybody else is generally very hot for this time of the day, no matter where you are. And if we took a look at the dew points, they're juicy. We got cooler dew points here in the northeast, but that's going to change because these dew points here and all of these tropical dew points here north of Mexico here into the Gulf Coast states and Texas, it's going to be moving in our direction over the next 24 hours or so. And let's see the 24-hour temperature change here. Well, it's getting warmer where it's been warm. It's getting warmer, and it's a little cooler because of the cloud deck and, some of the rainfall that's been over Florida, too, last 24 hours or so. And, of course, it continues to expand across the desert southwest, parts of Texas, and, of course, very hot here over the across the coastal areas from Washington, Oregon, down through California. And back on the ranch here this afternoon at 1:42. We have temperatures in the upper 60s across northern New Jersey, but most temperatures are in the low to the mid 70s across the region. Dew points are coming up too, and they look like they're getting higher in the mid 40s to upper 50s here as you get into southern New Jersey, and they're only going to increase. Relative humidity values are coming down just a little bit. They're still pretty comfortable now, but they're going to become uncomfortable by tonight and tomorrow morning as a warm front passes through the area. Radar is very quiet, not too much going on. We still have a little bit of rain showers here getting off the coast of Connecticut into the Long Island Sound area, and a few showers here off of coastal New Jersey as well. If we took a look at the wind speeds, they're generally from the west, so you know most of this precipitation is very light right now offshore, diving south east as well. And if we took a look at the wind gust here, they're generally running about 10 to 15 miles per hour. Here are those little breaks of sunshine entwined with the cloud deck and cloud cover. And if we look at the composite radar up close here, here's some of those showers diving down through the Hudson River Valley area to the north shore and south shore of Connecticut, north shore of Long Island Sound and into the ocean, and a few here right off the Jersey coast too. And if we put this into motion, we find that we had some showers around here earlier, but they're offshore now, and most of this has really reached the ground at all. So there's been very little precipitation. Next 7 days over the New Jersey, New York, Philly I-95 corridor here, with temperatures today in the 70s on a west wind. That's a few degrees below normal. Tomorrow we really heated up above normal. We could be approaching 90 degrees in a few of the urban areas like Philadelphia, Trenton, right outside of Newark too. I wouldn't be surprised. The Washington, D.C. area getting into the 90s tomorrow, mid-90s, south of the warm front. So tomorrow's going to be a sticky, humid day, and that's tomorrow on Wednesday. By the time we get to Thursday, temperatures still in the low to mid-80s, upper 80s, and lower 90s here across the I-95 corridor, Washington, D.C., steamy and soupy. Day 4, which is Friday, still temperatures in the upper 80s and lower 90s in a few spots. That's day 5. Saturday, trickle it down a bit, 80s to mid and upper 80s across the region. So it's going to get hot, and then that cold front comes through finally, and we get another surge of temperatures back into the mid 70s for Sunday. Sunday is going to be a good day, and probably a great day to go to the beach as well. And if we get to Monday, that looks good to go to the beach too. So I'll be there on Sunday and Monday as well. Let's go back to Thursday here. Yeah, I'll be at the beach on Thursday as well. Now, let's get into your forecast. Well, first, let's do the anomalies. So for today, the temperatures are about 3, 4, 5 degrees below normal. Tomorrow, they're going to spike about 7, 8, 11 degrees above normal. That trend of above normal temperatures for Thursday is going to be about 5 or 6 degrees above normal. Same thing, 8, 9, 10 degrees above normal on Friday. By the time we get to Saturday, temperatures are still above normal. Sunday's temperatures crash a little bit to near normal for where they should be this time of the year. And Monday looks good too. So Sunday and Monday are going to be great beach days, and we'll tell you why in just a moment. And Thursday's not so bad either, but we've got thunderstorms on the way. We'll use an AM model guidance, simulated IR brightness temperatures in Celsius as we go through the forecast over the next 60 hours. Things are going to partially clear out and then cloud up again as more energy comes over the top of the ridge and the warm front developing to our north and west. And those cooler cloud tops are going to come in through Wednesday, late tonight, early tomorrow morning. And here comes another batch of very warm, cooling cloud tops here with thunderstorms in them. Approaching Buffalo and Pittsburgh by tomorrow morning and getting into the New Jersey, New York City metropolitan area tomorrow morning as well. And that branch leaves off, and then here comes the cold front, and it's slow and parallel to the flow. So we've got thunderstorms on the way for Thursday, late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, and some of these could be potent as this doesn't really go too far south. In fact, it almost nearly stalls out through most of the day on Thursday with additional cloud cover across the region, and some very heavy thunderstorms are possible in this area. If we went into the composite reflectivity, which is basically what the radar what the radar is actually showing is what's going to probably occur here. We're going to have a little bit more in the way of shower and pop-up thunderstorm activity as the warm front develops and moves through southern New England and the New Jersey, New York coastal waters here as we get into Wednesday morning. So you have especially northern New Jersey, the lower Hudson Valley area, Long Island and Connecticut and New York City. Have a few thunderstorms there, but the main thing here is the additional threat for thunderstorms developing on Wednesday afternoon across the lower Hudson Valley as that new piece of energy comes across. And then, of course, here comes the cold front sinking slowly south. Some of these storms could contain hail, wind, and very heavy downpours because we have a tropical air mass in place. And you see, this front isn't really going to move too far south through Thursday, and additional shower and thunderstorm activity could be redeveloping across this area as we get into Friday. So, you know, we've got a break in the action, I think, on Thursday at some point here, which is good because, you know, that's the day I wanted to go to the beach. So it looks good for me and hopefully for most. But by the time we get into Friday, we got more showers and thunderstorms developing and moving in our direction. Water vapor channel forecast going forward from the NAM. You can see we're getting into the 1.5 to 1.6 range here as we get deeply into the forecast on Wednesday morning, which is tomorrow, and then of course additional heavy precipitation getting into 1.5 to 2 inches of liquid equivalent, in some cases 2.5 inches of liquid equivalent, and that means really tropical air. And heavy downpours are possible in any of these showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. And as we get back into Friday, we're still pretty moist here across northern New Jersey, central and southern New Jersey as well, with precipitable water values anywhere from 1.5 inches to 2 inches. So that doesn't mean, again, precipitable water is the amount of water vapor or gas in the atmosphere, but the downpours, that's what matters. Now, if we look at a swath of the accumulated precipitation totals, and this is what, you know, the model is thinking right now, take this all the way out, if we can get this to work, take this all the way out. This is interesting. By Thursday, 10 a.m., we can have amounts of over 1.5 to 2 inches in some of these heavier showers and thunderstorms along that frontal boundary. And it looks like, you know, we've got additional heavy rain coming in towards, you know, Virginia, Louisville, Kentucky, and Cincinnati, and that will be heading into portions of the area as we head into Friday night and Saturday morning. Convective available potential energy and lifted index going forward into the forecast here. This looks juicy by the time we get to early morning on Wednesday, with the first wave coming out of the northwest flow here across the northeastern Pennsylvania, northwestern New Jersey. Could have 1,000 to 1,500 joules per kilogram of available potential energy, and that just, you know, increases into the afternoon hours. So any showers and thunderstorms capable of very heavy downpours, hail, lightning, and some flash flooding, we'll be monitoring this. And I mean, this looks interesting as we get things calm down a little bit by Thursday, but things look to get interesting around here again by the time we get to Friday, with the Cape values in the morning of late Thursday night, Friday morning increasing once again as the precipitation comes overhead. Using the NAM model's heat index calculator, this is what it's going to feel like as we head into the day on Wednesday. It's going to feel like it's in the 90s here from Newark all the way down through Philadelphia and south through the Washington, D.C. area. Most of Delaware is going to feel like it's in the soupy 90s. That relaxes a little bit by the afternoon hours and waxes and wanes. And here comes Thursday. And Thursday looks like the heat is going to build again back into the 80s and 90s. It's going to feel like it's in the 90s again in the Washington, D.C. area, interior portions of Delaware as well, and southwest Jersey as well. I'm going to finish up the broadcast right now. I have a pounding sinus headache as well as the pounding that's going on upstairs in the ceiling as they take the leaves out of the gutters. That's going to do it for this afternoon. We'll be back in video form tonight. Hopefully, I'll feel better. For everything live, it's GardenStateWeather.com, GardenStateWeather.blogspot.com, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. Enjoy your afternoon.